Hi, this is Mike. I was just calling to see if that job that you offered was still available.
Yes. The security guard.
I will take anything. I will work and you will sleep.
I understand.
Give me your hand.
In the 80s, kids went missing. The police searched Freddy's top to bottom.
Hello?
They never found them. That's why the place shut down.
There are ghost children possessing giant robots. Thanks for the heads up.
A down-on-his-luck security guard must take a job watching over an abandoned children's-themed pizza parlor, complete with decrepit animatronic characters. Soon he discovers that there's a dark secret surrounding the restaurant that may put him in grave danger. Hey everyone, welcome back to Clubhouse Movies Podcast. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda, and today we are going to review Five Nights at Freddy's, directed by Emma Tammy.
Welcome, boys and girls. Let's eat pizza, play games, and never leave.
All right, Five Nights at Freddy's. This has been a hot movie coming. A lot of people were talking about it. I actually got lucky enough to see it in theaters opening night.
Nice.
And I have a story for that as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Believe it or
I was
not.
just stoked that I got to see it at home.
But it was a full house. People watching it. People were dressed in like security guard garbs and like purple colors.
Oh, really?
And I have another thing. I also went to Halloween Horror Nights this year, and they had the actual animatronic robots. They're all apparently done by the Jim Henson
no
people.
way.
Yeah. So that's a huge plus for this movie.
Dude, that's awesome. Yeah, those things were terrifying.
Really
Like,
good
they were
looking.
so creepy, dude.
Okay, so yes, they were creepy, they were terrifying, but they were also sad, and they were also cute and cuddly.
Yeah, like how could they emote that? Like when it's a horror, it's a slasher. So weird. I'm like, the murderous robots with hearts of gold.
And
What?
I will say, I know absolutely nothing about the Five Nights at Freddy's lore. I've never read the books, nor do I care about it.
I kind of was. I was kind of glad that that's how I approached the movie too. I was like hoping you were in the same boat. I know we can talk about this pre-show, but I think talking about it during the show is even better because I really was just taken aback by it. I'm just watching it, going, I know nothing about this whatsoever. I'm really in it. This is gonna be good.
Yeah. From what I do know is that the way the game works is that and I think I have played the first one because of everyone played it at some point, right?
Yeah.
And you're a security guard, and you're just going back checking security cameras and trying to stop them from your bay. And when the main character there, Mike, is there at the security thing,
Yeah.
like they have the layout with the screens, and looking at it, and
so cool.
and it works. And I actually think that the motivations for everyone in this, like, I'm not going to say it's like the greatest movie of all time, right? Spoiler, I'm going to give it about a B, right? But it was fun. It was a good B, right? Well earned B. I'm not in a hurry, but I feel like it was a good B. It's a good.
Yeah, it wasn't like the B, and I'm right there with you, man. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
If you don't want to hang out.
Spoiler.
I was watching it, and I'm like, you know what? I didn't feel like maybe it's a B. It was like, that is solid. That is like well deserved for a first go at this.
And I'm gonna kind of compare it briefly to another movie, let's say children's themed or maybe PG-13 themed horror movie that came out within the last, I don't know, season, let's say. But if I compare this first act to the Haunted Mansion first act, the Haunted Mansion first act was completely all over the place. I didn't know what was happening.
Dude, that talk about clunky. I mean, the plot to this one was a little hit or miss every now and again, but things still made sense in retrospect when it would happen. When I was watching The Haunted Mansion, I'm like, did I skip a lot of this movie?
Yeah,
I'm sitting here watching it.
It felt like you were jumping through time in a weird way.
Yeah.
But okay, so we'll get into the plot through this also because it kind of A's to B's to C's here because the movie does start with the prologue where it appears to have been a former security guard being attacked by the robots.
Yeah.
right?
Man, it started off really good.
Really good, almost like Saw. Like Saw, like these robots have saw traps in them, right? Where they contain you and they contain your ghost, like spooky stuff going on. And
they're a Horcrux.
Yeah,
Harry Potter reference. Finally,
I know, right? Here, dinner. Winner, chicken dinner. My brain, dude. I am so tired
I said
today.
it backwards with you, man.
I am so tired.
I am frazzled. I know for you, it's like what is it? It's 4 something over there.
Well,
it's like almost 8 over here.
4 something, running on 0 sleep, 10 hours of work, and then building this. Okay, anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. Yeah.
But yeah, the prologue is the security guard. But here's the thing I'm kind of going to bring up right now. I know the Five Nights at Freddy's games, and then when the 2s and 3s came out, there was a lot of commentary on them. Some of them were prequels, and some of them were sequels. So like you really know where you really don't know where you are in the timeline. So after watching them, I was like, maybe the prologue was actually like in the future and it happened after the events of this. You can think of it that way, or maybe it happened like before. In the 70s. There's ways of thinking about this, right? Yeah. But it is a cold opening. It really doesn't have anything to do with the main plot, but you just know that there's danger afoot early on.
Yeah, it just sets the pace. That's what it does.
In this spooky, abandoned Chuck E. Cheese-esque restaurant.
And let me build on that real quick, because as a kid, I'm sure you remember this too. Back when we were kids, Chuck E. Cheese had the animatronics. And then I thought those things were creepy. So for me, it was in a weird way kind of like this awesome moment to get to see the Chuck E. Cheese-esque animatronics actually do what I thought they were going to do in the real world.
Well, and there's another thing to it. Is like I thought they were creepy too. I don't think I was necessarily scared of them, but I was never attracted to them. And going
no way.
And then also like thinking about like, you ever go to Disneyland and just the Mickey Mouse guy in the costume? Like I've never been like, oh, I'm gonna go hug Mickey. Like
I mean, for me, the only one where I was like, oh, I want to go hug that one was Pluto.
It was Pluto the dog?
Pluto. Yeah, Pluto.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay.
That was all. Everybody else, I'm like, I don't know, man. That's weird.
You ever hear the, what do you call it? The urban legend or the belief is that Donald Duck is actually a PTSD war veteran, and that's why he like is always wearing
angry.
He's always angry, but he's always wearing the sailor's outfit. And he's always like, because like he got like his throat burned out or something.
I've never heard that, but that's pretty cool.
It's pretty dark.
I'm down for that. I'm down for that one when we're talking about this.
He's secretly Popeye. Let's put it that way.
Yes, because he even gears up to fight like Popeye.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't do it now, but back in the day when you'd watch the show, he'd for sure be gearing up to fist fight everybody.
Okay, Josh Hutcherson is Mike.
Almost Josh Hartnett. No,
yeah.
I'm kidding.
He's the other love interest from Hunger Games. That's where I remember him.
Oh, right, yeah.
He was the one who was the triangle that nobody that probably would win,
what was
but nobody
his name,
wanted.
like Panini or something? I don't know, something weird.
Yeah, it was something like Panini. Or
I'm not kidding. I don't know what his name was.
Penny, or like Penny the cat.
Oh, there we go. Nice.
Yeah, you're right. He'd have a dumb name. Maybe you can look it up really fast.
Yeah, let's see this thing.
I just remember, what's her name? The girl. I didn't prep for this at all. Whoever played Katniss, I just remember her like Panini. and then remember when he dressed himself up with cake batter as a tree?
Oh, dude, that was so weird. He was so good at camouflage.
He was like, you just see his face looking like Swamp Thing, and he's like, "Hey, it's me, Panini."
Dude, I saw all 3 of those movies, I think, in one sitting because I'd never seen them, and I sat with my wife, and she's like, "You have to watch these."
That was a trilogy of
that was a weird,
maybe quadrilogy because the last one was like a 2.5 thing.
Yeah, it was really the 0.5. It wasn't even a full movie.
Yeah, but I'm curious to figure out what his name was.
What is the name of the movies again? Oh, Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. The first one was just Hunger Games, and that was the one we're talking about. But his name was you're right. It was like Panini or.
It was PETA. PETA. PETA, get over here. What?
PETA.
Shut up, Lois.
Here I am. I was thinking Italian, but it's Greek.
Oh, the irony. For those of you who don't know, Marcus is Greek.
Yeah, really.
Half, anyway.
Well, anyway, Josh Hutcherson of Hunger Games fame is the would-be security guard, and he's taking care of his now
younger sister.
Yeah, his younger sister, but semi-orphan. Maybe the dad just ran out.
From we get to know that. Yeah, the dad just couldn't handle.
Couldn't handle.
We'll get there.
We'll get into it, but so why I say this is better than Haunted Mansion is because we kind of go in from a prologue to kind of a cold open like vignette story where he wakes up and he's got this dream book with him and he's talking to his buddy about dreams, and this is a motif that goes throughout the movie where he's actually trying to go like Inception his own mind. And
you know what? That scene, I don't know about you, but not just the color palette, but the way it was shot kind of reminded me of The Shining with Jack Nicholson talking to the owner of the shop of the hotel.
You know what? Maybe not this scene in particular, but definitely when we meet Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
I definitely got that vibe.
I did too.
And that's one of the callbacks that we'll get to in this movie, especially as it includes Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, I was so stoked when I saw him. I was like, why am I happy here?
Yeah. Never say I'll be right back. Anyway. So there he's at the security guard, he's getting some ice cream, and he sees a little kid like all by himself as he's getting ice cream. And then he sees like some dude like walking and grab him.
We got this new flavor, Rainbow Explosion.
And then he starts chasing the dude with the kid, and then he just beats the crap out of him into a water
tackles
fountain.
Him into a water fountain, and then just starts meleeing his face.
Yeah, and this is where we meet Matthew Lillard, who is the career counselor for this career firm.
His name is Steve Raglan in this movie. Such a weird name.
Steve Raglan.
Yeah, I don't know why he went off Steve Raglan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either, but this is the scene that definitely reminded me of The Shining with the at the Altman office where he tells him, you just keep screwing everything up. You got no job. You got no this and you got no that, And then he realizes his name is Mike something. I forget the last name. Yeah. He's like, oh, well, maybe I got this one job. It's nights and the pay sucks. So like, I don't know. He's like, well, I can't work nights. I got to take care of my sister.
It's a security gig. Full disclosure, it's not great, right? High turnover, that's what we call in the business, but you get to be your own boss, sort of. And you only have to worry about one thing, keeping people out.
And then he's like, I don't want it.
Gives him a card.
Yeah, if you change your mind, give me a call. Give me a call. And this is Josh Hutcherson and Matthew Lillard. I just forgot his name. I said his name a second ago. Matthew Lillard. Okay. So then we find out that his sister is much younger than him, and she seems like autistic or just kind of a little different.
Just out there.
Yeah. Kind of spacey. And then also his aunt is trying to take full custody of the sister. Okay. And then Aunt Jane
is her name.
Yeah. And then while he works, he has this babysitter, Max, who watches the kid for free. And I remember like watching this. I'm like, oh, Max, like you're doing this for free? So nice of you.
Yeah. I was like, plot device.
Yeah.
The moment she came in, I was like, I get it.
Yeah. Something. Yeah. But anyway, so once he finds out that his aunt is trying to take custody, and then they got the school involved and everything, and then they got this sleazy lawyer guy who may be the only absolute funny character in this movie.
Yeah.
And he's got
shouldn't even be here.
He's got some funny looks. He kind of reminds me of the guy in Office Space with the red stapler.
Oh yeah,
like Stephen Root in Office Space.
Yeah, dude, all too well.
Yeah. Mike Judge. Another classic there. Anyway,
talking about a printer. Damn those printers.
Yeah, just beat the crap out of it.
Rage.
Okay, so once he finds out that all this is going on, and the principal of the school is just like, what you should do is get a job, because that's first and foremost the most important part of this whole equation. Get a job,
there you go.
That's when he decides to call Matthew Lillard, and he goes to the titular. I don't know if I've used that word right, but I used it right the first time, but in other times I've used it.
No, I guess you.
It's the title of the movie.
Context. Yeah,
titular. Five Nights at Freddy's Pizzeria.
What's called Freddy's Fazbear.
Freddy Fazbear.
Yeah.
Waka waka waka.
Whatever. Yeah, I was going to say that. I was like, please have that be a nod.
Waka waka waka. Anyway, so he goes and Matthew Lillard's on the phone. He's like, you got to do this and you got to do that, and you got to do that. While he's there, speaking of the Shining, he seems to have a psychic connection to this place.
Yeah.
Because as he's there, his dreams become a lot more vivid, and we learn, like we were talking about the dream book, is that he's trying to inception himself and go into his dreams and find details of when his kid brother was abducted in the forest.
Yeah, because he has this book that reads about a concept where whatever you see, whenever you see it, however you see it, in any which way or fashion, your brain, your mind will capture every minute detail and every grand detail. So if you're able to relive that dream, which is just also a feat unto itself, how the hell is he doing that? You can peel back the onion layers, as we say.
Yes.
There you go. Knowledge is power.
It's an onion. It's got layers.
It's delicious.
He just bit into a raw onion. So he's there, and he kind of hears. This is the first night, and I wrote down all the nights because it is 5 nights by the end of the movie. Yeah. This is the first night he can see more in his dream, and now in his dreams where he's trying to recall the events from that night, and he actually listens to like forest music, and because he
looks at a picture of Nebraska.
Yeah, he's trying to recreate everything even before he goes to sleep, right?
Yeah.
But now when he goes in the forest in his dreams during Inception, there are these creepy kids now that were not there in the beginning.
Dude, those kids freaked me out, man.
You know what
Children of the Corn scarring me.
Yeah, Children of the Corn. And then have you ever seen Sinister? Have you ever seen Sinister?
Yes.
Do you remember the creepy kids in Sinister?
Screw that freaking movie, man.
I made the movies whole now. Anyway, yeah. So they remind me of the creepy kids in Sinister, some Children of the Corn stuff going on, and the thing about it, this was broad daylight too. So like they were able to keep creepiness.
Also, another crazy difference between this and the Haunted Mansion was I could actually see this movie. It was well color graded and lit.
Yeah, and I did like the purples and the greens,
even the dark scenes.
And it did capture like what this Chuck E. Cheese place would look like, I don't
know about you, but like for me, because obviously I have 2 kids and I take them to Chuck E. Cheese all the time, and it was I still love it now. It's just easier, but you can like when I was watching this, I'm like, wow, whoever did the production for all this like stuff around here knows what it is. Spent some time in all these things. Definitely lived in the 80s and enjoyed this because I could smell that place. It was wild.
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese was my time was back when NES was a thing. So they had like the original Mario, the original Duck Hunt, and they had all that crap. And that was, that was a lot of fun. And
the ball pit before they were like, oh, germs.
Yeah, the ball pit. Germs and cats would go and poop in it. Remember sand pits? Like,
dude. Yeah, I'm gonna go play in the sand. Any place that has sand pits now, I'm like, my children are nowhere near. I'm like, nope, stay away. That's gross.
I think even like my time, during like the 80s was still like sand pits or cesspools, and just get rid of it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's bad.
But anyway, this is where we see like the video game mechanic of him pushing the button and then like,
yeah, starting it up.
Yeah, starting it up and getting everything to work. But the big takeaway here is that somehow his dreams are being affected by this, and then that's all on the first night. So then the next day happens, and this is where we learn that Max the babysitter is actually in cahoots with the aunt, right?
Yes, and they hate each other. So not Max and the aunt, but the aunt just, I don't know if we covered that, but she really hates Mike, like just for no reason, calls him a drug addict and all this stuff. The dude's just tired and goes to work. That's all he does. Yeah, he's just us.
This woman, I don't know if it's the same actress, but she reminds me a lot of Ed Helms' fiance in the first Hangover. You remember, like he had a really he had a really evil fiance.
Well, let's see. I'm pulling her up right now. Let's see. Her name is. What is her name?
Her name is.
I just had it up, but I'm looking through to see.
Mary Stephen Masterson.
Okay, no, I don't think she's not in here.
Okay, Mary Stuart Masterson.
Nope. I looked at her filmography. She is not there.
Okay, but anyway, yeah, she just
Yeah.
tangent. She just reminds me of just angry woman.
Yeah, she's mad all the time.
She's mad, and then her lawyer are sitting at like a Denny's. But okay, here's something that I didn't quite understand, and maybe this is a nod to the video game.
Okay.
But there was a overzealous waiter who's like, lunch is the most important meal of the day. You got to eat. You got to get your nutrition. It's so good. And I just
he came out of nowhere.
And I kind of thought in my brain, like, this is just kind of a quirky character, but the audience was gut busting laughing. Like it was like an inside gag. So if anybody knows if this was actually part of the story,
comment on the video.
Comment on the video.
I want to know.
Right. So anyway, they devise a plan to break it because they want him to lose his job. So the aunt can get custody. So they're going to break in and just destroy the place.
So we forget to mention that also Max has a brother who's in on this. He wants to cause maximum damage. What's this guy's name? I don't even know where.
Is it Hank?
Oh yeah, Hank. So Hank, they're in the restaurant together.
Hank or one of these guys, because it wasn't just the brother. It was like a gang.
The restaurant. It was only the brother talking to the
aunt and the lawyer. Yeah. That's when the lawyer's like, I shouldn't be hearing this. This is all dangerous. So the babysitter Max, her brother, and the gang decided to go during the day once Mike is left. And then they can pretty much trash the place up. And they do, and then they have a pretty good like aliens like scene where they're in there and the place is all decrepit and like they all get attacked one by one.
Yeah.
And then when I saw this in theaters, there was a complete blackout. The entire Rolling Hills Town Center died. It was like, whoa. And the whole thing was like dead, like pitch black. And it was like, like freaking out.
Holy crap.
And it happened like at that scene, like the actual like scary like scene, like and it was like actually happening like in the movie where the lights are going out and all these people being attacked by robots.
Yeah.
And the lights when I saw it were actually out for 20 minutes.
No way.
Yeah, and they were saying like you can leave and get like your money back, or you can come back, or you can just wait and see if the power comes back online.
Yeah.
It eventually did, but they but I missed a little bit. And thank God it's on Peacock. I was able to see the director's cut, the scene that I missed. But Max was bifurcated by something. Like she was cut in half,
dude. Yeah, so she
I missed the bifurcation in theaters.
So what happened is, I don't know if you saw it, but she saw a little kid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So she came in after one guy got taken out in a storeroom. Her brother got taken out a little before that, and then or a little after that, he was running down dropping coins like a freaking like Sonic. It was hilarious. So literally leading his own trail to death. And then she sees a kid run into a hallway, and she's like, "Hey, kid!" He's like, "Hey, follow me."
One of the kids from the forest, by the way.
Yes, one of the kids from the forest and the dream.
It's now in the
that
pizzeria.
Mike is having. Is now in conversing with real life people.
Yeah.
So he runs into this room, this ghost kid, and she goes in there after him, and she sees Freddy Fazbear or Fazbear, whatever, standing there, and she's like, "Oh," he's like, "I'm in here. You'll never see me," or something like that. And you're like, "No way." She goes up, and all we see is a silhouette of this happen. She goes in, looks in, and all of a sudden it cuts to the silhouette and the shadow, and she is lopped in half.
Yes, totally bifurcated.
Yeah,
and I don't know if it's all practical effects, but definitely the practical effects in this movie sell it. Like it looks real.
So fantastic. Well done, man.
So and I think like a lot of the reason why a lot of people aren't liking movies these days is because the CG is just turning it into like. Do you remember the Mind's Eye? Do you ever see the Mind's Eye movies back in the early 90s?
No.
Back when computer animation was a thing, people would just buy like computer animation like movies just for the sake of like clips of computer animation stuff.
Yeah, I do remember that, but no, I don't remember.
Okay, so there's so much CG now in movies. I think people now just assume they're watching a cartoon. Yeah,
that's true,
and it gives people uncanny valley vibes for the entire thing. And since everything was,
I agree.
And since everything was practical, with these characters, and then, like I said, I saw them at the actual ones at Halloween Horror Nights. They also had Megan, the Megan doll, Halloween
Dude, you
Horror
sent me a
Nights.
picture of that.
Yeah.
I was like, no way.
They had the Megan doll, and you know what else they had? I don't know if I sent you this picture too, but they also had the evil face guy, played by Ethan Hawke, from the Black
Oh,
Phone.
you did?
Yeah.
Dude, that face mask is a work of art. It's crazy.
These are all Blumhouse movies and releases, and they're all practical. You know, they're all real. They're all tangible, and like even the I'm not sure if Conjuring is Blumhouse or not. I don't think it is. Now I think about it, but
No, I think it's A24 or something.
no, it's New Line. That's what it is.
New Line.
New Line,
There we
Warner
go.
Brothers, whatever. But the Annabelle doll, pretty creepy to look at too. You know.
Yeah, no thanks, dude.
So you know they should have and then at the Halloween Horror Nights, what they actually did, they have a show where the Annabelles had a
Oh, yeah.
had,
Yeah,
no,
they'll have like a dance off.
yeah, not Annabelle's, the other one, the Megans. They all have a dance
Megans,
off.
yeah.
they all like break dance.
That's weird.
Yeah, but it was fun. I always like Halloween Horror Nights. Get the fast pass.
Yeah.
Don't wait 190 minutes in line to, in essence, wait in line.
One
Amazing.
thing. That's
But anyway,
crazy.
she gets bifurcated, and then I forget to say that, but this is actually the third night we're coming into, because he met the cop girl. He met Officer
That's something.
Officer Vanessa, right? The first night, but she just introduced herself and was really cryptic. So now she goes to Mike's house and told her that the place is ransacked. You should have locked the door. You have to clean up next time you come. But now apparently Max's babysitter is gone for some reason, unbeknownst to Max. So he has to bring her, the kid with him. What's her name? Abby. Bring Abby with her.
Yeah. Abby.
And to the next night. And he tells Vanessa, the cop, the story of how his brother went missing, and he's always trying to figure out, like, because she found the sleeping medication.
Because he saw it happen. You can't tell him it didn't happen.
Yeah. Don't tell me this didn't happen. I saw it happen.
So great.
But Romulus is out there. Don't tell me it happened. I saw it happen.
My people.
Yeah. Eric Bana, where you been? Where were you?
He made his money and left. He's a smart man.
I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, the other thing that happened. Okay, so then he brings the kid. She builds a little teepee in his office, and then he cleans up the mess. And this is the third night, right?
Yeah.
And then this is where he dreams again after he cleans up, and then he starts kind of talking to them. Then he wakes up. Abby's gone from her teepee. And then he finds her, and then she's playing with all the animatronic robots.
He hears her screaming, and he comes up, and then Fazbear turns around to like murder him, and you hear Abs go, "No, he's my brother," and you're like, "Oh, what?" And they're like, "Yeah, they were gonna tickle me to death." I'm like, "What?"
They have like a robot party, and they build like a fort, and they're dancing, and everything is great. And then one of them falls down, and then does the thumbs up, and I bet that's a Terminator reference, because when
dude.
You did it! Are you okay?
I like it in here.
Me too.
As soon as I saw that, I was like, "That is Terminator."
Mike is not completely sold. Like he's always like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah.
And he's always trying to figure out like what's going on in his dreams and everything, and like he just knows something is wrong.
Yeah.
And then that's also when we see the like laying down on the ground, like kind of like a broken robot. It's like, "Don't touch the robot," and then she touches it with.
So it's Vanessa. It's Vanessa and what is
Mike.
it? Mike hanging out in this storeroom.
Yeah, like the back room or something.
Yeah.
And then like Vanessa's like, "Yeah, don't get too close to it," because they all have like switches on them to keep like the person like inside the robot, like so they don't fall out of it or something. And then she touches it, and like the saw trap goes off like on a broomstick handle. Like, and
just
breaks
snaps the broomstick handle. Like, like nothing.
Like
She's
like a bear trap inside the.
Yeah. And Mike freaks out as any normal person would, which is ridiculous. It actually took me a bit out of the movie because it was so realistic. The way he reacted was like, "You mean she could have come over here and actually been hurt if she had touched this?" I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
This was a slasher movie. What's happening here?
And I think Mike's stakes were maybe the dream inception stuff that he was working on. A little fantasy element there, but it works for this story. But I get it. Like this dude's trying to support his family. Even the crooked the crooked babysitter was like, "Yeah, he's actually nice to her." to his sister.
Before she got lopped in half, she was defending him.
Yeah, she was. So she wasn't like a
crazy.
bad person. She just was in a bad circumstance. I think. But then
She was 50-50 on the situation, if you know what I mean.
yeah.
I'm here all week. Sorry, Penny.
Yeah, she's not happy. She doesn't like the puns. Anyway, so they go back on the main stage, and Fazbear, Freddy, he's like, he has this electric guitar, right? And then Abby's like about to strum it while he's like strumming it, and she's like, "Look at me strum the electric guitar!"
Yeah.
And then Vanessa's like, "No, no!" And she strums it, and then she gets electrocuted.
Abby? Where's Abby? Jump!
Like she gets electrocuted like Jurassic Park style, where she like flies like far away.
Dude,
and gets
that's
knocked
exactly
out.
what I thought. It was straight up Jurassic Park. Even from the lopping in half, I was like, Jurassic Park T-Rex on the guy in the toilet. And then she strums that thing, and I'm just like, Jurassic Park, the kid touching the freaking fence. I'm like, this is it.
There were a lot of Jurassic Park nods, and especially since like remember the raptor chases in the
raptor chase.
The raptor chases in the kitchen and
Fantastic.
stuff. A lot of that like lighting and like Spielberg-esque like action was happening in this movie.
Yeah. Someone took notes.
Yeah. But anyway, so she's electrocuted, she's revived and fine, and this is where they're all in front, and Vanessa's like, if you ever bring Abby back here, I will shoot you. And then his motivation is he has to come back because he's got to talk to the ghost children of the corn and find out if he can find out what happened there. So he actually decides to call his aunt and have her babysit and possibly do this.
And then Abby sees this and she's like, I hate you so much.
Yeah, because she did find the papers, the custody papers that she didn't agree with. So she thinks that because she did worship Mike, she was drawing pictures of him and she likes him, even though they're kind of like estranged. But that's because she's a little weird. But I think I don't know. I think everyone's motivations and once we figure out what's up with Vanessa, like it all makes sense in the context of this movie.
Yeah, it wasn't so wild that this movie could be a movie. Like it was, barring these freaking animatronic monsters were not real. If this happened in real life, you could actually be like, okay, these are tangible people. I can get it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how real life this movie can be, but yeah, I get it.
There's some pseudo something going on there.
Yeah, we'll go that far enough. But anyway, so all this is going on, and this is where, and we're approaching the fifth night here.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Mike has a dream where he is in the forest, but now he's with his family, like completely, like nothing happened. And his mom and his dad, who are like are now estranged, they're like, "Come here, have a seat with us." And he sees his like long lost brother.
Well, and the thing is, we forgot to mention that in these dreams, Mike is his current self. So he's the current age. We see him as a current representation of himself. And I think we gloss over the fact that his mom had actually passed away, and then that's when the dad dipped on all of them. So he's getting to see what his past was, and he wants it to be his current thing. That's his dream, is to live then.
Yeah, and then the main like child of the corn, this blonde kid, is like, this could be real. This could be life forever. You just have to give
lives in the Blumhouse.
Yeah,
This isn't real.
But it could be.
What is this? This isn't what I asked for.
But it's what you want.
No. I just want to find the man that...
You're lying. You want to save Garrett. That's why you're really here. To change what happened.
You just have to give us what we want. And Mike's like, what is it? I'll give you anything. We want Abby. So
and then he touches his brother's hair, like his little brother that had got taken from him. He brushes his hair and he's like, oh man. But the moment he strokes his hair, he gets replaced by Abby, and he's like, no, I can't give you Abby.
Yeah, and then they get all mad, and he gets kicked down. By the way, I'm just going to tangent this for a second. I think my favorite joke in the first Deadpool was Ryan Reynolds before he turned to Deadpool. Like, he was always like kind of like a thug for hire.
Yeah.
He woke up from a bad dream, ironically. And he goes, "Oh man, I had a nightmare." I was like, "What happened to your nightmare?" I had this nightmare that I kidnapped Liam Neeson's daughter, and he just wasn't having it.
Dude, what? Dude, I need to rewatch that. I don't even remember that.
I think that was
ridiculous.
I think that was the one scene that I busted up laughing at the theater. No one else.
Dude. That's good, man. That's a good callback.
What do hitmen fear the most? Like Liam Neeson. he just wasn't having it. But anyway,
so good.
And speaking of hitmen taking people into the night, he goes back that night, the fifth night, and that's when he's they're trying to do this, but they capture him and try to put him. The robots capture him.
Well, this idiot gets over. He goes there, and then he goes. He takes a freaking sleeping pill.
Well, yeah, he took a sleeping pill so he can make the deal, right?
Yeah.
But then when he recanted on the deal, that's when they tried to put him in a saw trap. Like the guy in the first one, and he's about to get like turned into Fozzie Pizza as it is.
Weird one was like a weird little French girl animatronic. So I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, there's a lot of they were cute, and then they get scary fast.
Yeah.
Especially since they're filled with saw traps for some reason. Well, I guess we figured out why later. But anyway, so he manages to escape and is injured pretty badly, and is picked up by Vanessa, who also is an EMT apparently. Mm-hmm. And while this is happening, Freddy the robot is actually he apparently took a taxi to
her house,
to Mike's house, Mike and Abby's house, murders the aunt, and then just casually picks up the Abby and is like, "Time to go." And like, he doesn't say anything, but like,
and Abby sees her and sees her feet, and the kid, I guess, is in this body, is like, "Oh, she's sleeping. She's tired now. We should go in the taxi."
Well, who was talking?
It was the ghost kid.
It was the ghost kid. Yeah, because I remember them communicating. That's right.
They're all waiting for you. It's time to go play. Silly Aunt Jane. She fell asleep.
And then
the ghost kids communicate.
And then, having made like a B horror movie in my past, I kind of do remember just making the feet, so they can walk.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the animatronic feet, like the Terminator, like walking like throughout this thing.
I did too, man. It was great.
I liked like seeing it just like kind of walking back and forth, I just dug these like B movie animatronics, and it was just pretty good. So they she's like, "How are we going to leave?" And the taxi's still waiting for them. Apparently, I guess maybe he walked there the first time, and they were going to taxi back. I don't know if it was a different taxi, but but the taxi driver's like, "Oh my god!" Like he freaks out, but still manages to take them back to the pizzeria.
Yeah.
So that was nice. So he takes them. So now Vanessa and Mike are triaging, and they're going to do it over. And then I don't know if this is where we learn who the yellow bunny is, but they're always talking about the yellow bunny. The yellow bunny.
This is where we learn who the yellow bunny is. And if you didn't see this coming from a freaking mile away, I don't know what to tell you, man.
But throughout the movie, everyone's talking about the yellow bunny, like is scaring them. And the yellow bunny is controlling them. The yellow bunny, because they're not in essence the bad guy. The yellow bunny is the bad guy of this movie.
Yeah, we keep referring every time we bring him up. Like in the movie, or he's brought up, it cuts to a very rudimentary coloring and drawing of the yellow bunny holding kids' hands. Obviously, all these kids are the kids that have gone missing in the 80s, and they're happy. They're all happy. And it's one picture that we keep going back to.
By the way,
that makes a huge impact.
By the way, the opening credits of the movie were kind of like repurposed, like Tetris music. I don't know if you count that too.
Immediately.
Because I remember playing old school Tetris, because like I said, old school NES, old school Game Boy back in the day.
The Game Boy, that was the first game I ever bought on the Game Boy.
It came with it. It came with the Game Boy, right?
Yeah. That one, I got Mortal Kombat. It was great.
Oh, dude. Not too bad, though. Not too bad.
Too bad.
There was a movie we didn't watch because they said it was bad, but I wanted to watch it, but everyone unanimously said it's bad. Apple Plus.
It's bad.
Apple Plus just seems to make bad movies. I don't know what the deal is.
I mean, one is coming out in theaters. I don't know which one it is. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, but anyway, back to this movie. So they're all set up for the main finale.
Yeah,
and just a lot of shenanigans, a lot of get away from her, and a lot of that stuff going on.
Well, no, we skipped over the fact that that Vanessa finally breaks down and tells Mike what's happening while she's taking care of him.
Yes,
and she provides tasers, which of course they're animatronics, they're electronic. She's like, they won't stop them forever, but they'll stop them just enough.
I think that might be a mechanic in the game, the tasers.
They gotta be. They gotta be.
But she doesn't go with them originally. There's a chase, and she ends up in the ball pit, like we said. The Abby ends up in the ball pit. It chases them some more, and then Mike is able to slow some of them down, and then Vanessa shows up, and she's able to slow some of them down. But then this is gonna gloss over the reveal here. The reveal is that the Yellow Rabbit, who we haven't met yet, by the way,
at all,
is her dad, right? We just know that he's my dad. Here's me with the Yellow Rabbit, like when we were kids, and like,
dude, it's like a power suit, man. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's a mech suit.
Yeah, he's so strong. He kicks Mike in the face.
Yeah, and then he takes off his mask while they're all fighting, and guess who it is?
Steve Raglan,
aka Matthew Lillard.
Yeah.
Did you notice?
You're like, whoa,
that he had like a knife at one point, and they did the ghost face.
Dude, yes,
that's ghost face knife clean.
I will get to that, but my God, when he did that, and he had that drooling look in his face, that same thing he did when he saw in Scream, I was like, he's back.
Yeah. What did he say in Scream? What was it again?
No, it was just he was so like
doing Scream stuff.
He's like, you didn't get it, you didn't see it, or something like that, and like the way his face looked, I'm like, he did it. He did the face.
Yeah, where were you been, Matthew Lillard?
Yeah, man. Killing stuff
in jail. Can't wait to see
he was being Shaggy, dude.
But that was like still 20 years ago.
That was a long time ago.
That was like
that first one in theaters, man. That was crazy.
I'm sorry. It didn't look like Scooby-Doo though. It looked like Charlie's Angels version of Scooby-Doo.
It wasn't that bad.
Okay.
I'll say that right now. The first one, I was actually laughing a lot.
Okay. Scooby-Doo.
Have I seen it since then? No, not at all.
Yeah, no, nor do you want to. But anyway, lots of Scream references, and then they managed to convince the main Freddy robots.
This is after Matthew Lillard's character Steve Raglan stabs his daughter right in the freaking gut,
who ends up in a coma, by the way.
Yeah. She does.
Stabs her in the gut. And then what happens? And then that's when they I think Mike convinces the kids that it's him who's manipulating you. You guys are all kids. You were all innocent.
Oh yeah, that's when Abby draws, because Abby's been drawing this whole movie.
Yeah,
it's like, oh man, she's been drawing every scene that Mike has been dreaming. Apparently,
yes.
And there's no real explanation as to why or how it's happening.
The Shining,
or how she sees it. Yeah, that's what I referred it to. I was like, okay, it's The Shining.
It's The Shining.
We've been there. The references are here in the movie. And
come play with us, Danny.
Yeah, pretty much, man. And she goes ahead and draws the freaking. She just speech, which was great. That cutscene of her drawing was like a Fast and Furious. She's just putting a car together really quick, or even Mario, where they're putting together go-karts together real quick.
There was a scene.
It was a great cutscene, man.
In Nightmare on Elm Street.
It was Shaun of the Dead. Sorry.
Yeah, maybe. But I remember there was the quick cuts. So that's a Sam Raimi-esque cut, by the way, with Evil Dead, them building the chainsaw and the cars and everything. Yeah,
it's awesome.
Also, kind of reminded me of Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the Dream Child, where the girl, she was trying to get into like a picture, so she drew just like a series, like like the restroom female with the head and the triangle and the two arms and the two legs.
Oh man, I vaguely remember that. That's crazy.
And then she ended up in the dream. It kind of reminded that too. But Abby drew sad kids with the yellow bunny.
Yeah, the yellow bunny had a blade that was covered in blood, and all the kids had slashes on them with X's on their eyes.
Yeah,
like, oh,
because
no.
what happened was these animatronics, in order for them to get the move, they needed people in them, and the people had to have souls. and he hid the bodies of kids who went missing in the animatronics. So in them is that I was waiting for it to open, and then you see like a skull in there.
Yeah, it never happened, man. We never got it. Never got it.
Yeah, we never got the big reveal. And maybe this movie should have been rated R. Maybe.
Yeah, it was borderline, man. It's pretty borderline.
It was borderline, but I really wanted to see some blood and guts, but it's okay.
Yeah, a true slasher.
Yeah, but it's okay. It did well. Like I said, we're comparing this to the Haunted Mansion, which had zero charisma, zero character value. By the way, all those characters seem very fake and wooden. Fun as an ensemble, but not fun individually. Whereas this one, every character had some time to shine, I think. And I think
even the animatronics.
Yeah, even the animatronics, even the villains, even Matthew Lillard. By the way, Matthew Lillard, I was thinking like, what's he doing with his life? Like in the movie, I mean, like the character. He started a staffing company, and like I knew a dude who got rich from starting a staffing company. So like there's money in that too,
It's crazy.
So I get
to think about, man. Something to think about.
Labor. Everybody needs it to do stuff.
Moves the world, man.
Moves the world. But anyway, the robots turn on the yellow rabbit, which is and then the saw trap starts. Remember she put the broomstick in and snapped. Those bear traps started like closing in on Matthew Lillard. He's like, "Oh, it burns! Oh, it hurts!"
Yeah. And you see it. That's the thing. You see. So this is one of the scenes where you actually see blood happening, not just as a past tense it happened, and you see it.
Not hypothetical
blood. Thing going. Yeah, it was actually going in and breaking his ribs and like it was killing him.
I always come back.
Yeah, so that happened.
He gets dragged away.
Dragged away like the Penguin in Batman Returns.
Mike and Abby escape. Vanessa is in a coma, and then they're patching them up. And I think it just sort of ends with Mike happy with Abby. And she's like, maybe one day we should go back to the pizzeria and like say hi to them again. And he's like, I don't think so.
And then we have a after credits scene.
Well, we see Vanessa in there's a couple of things. We see Vanessa in the hospital. We don't know if she's okay, if she'll ever come out of her coma.
Yeah.
Then we cut to after Abby says, we should go back and visit him one day. Then we cut to Matthew Lillard.
In the kitchen.
Where
the first death occurred.
Still kind of like, but like a little more jacked up than he was before. Right? Yeah. But apparently can't walk, so we'll see what happens to him. Then we get to the after credit scene.
Yes. It was the taxi driver, because the taxi driver always lives, right? And he's on, what was he? Was he sleeping? He was sleeping.
He was like sleeping or waiting.
Yeah, I think he was sleeping, and he had like a thing on his eyes, and he hears his taxi door open and shut, and then he looks over, and it's a stupid like monkey doll thing with the symbols in its hand. Scares the bejesus out of him, as it has been scaring Mike the entire time.
Yeah, he's been appearing here and there, and then we don't really know him or his backstory, but he's definitely a character, and then that's how this movie ends. But did you go to the end credits?
The full end?
Yeah.
I mean, I skimmed through it. I didn't know if there was anything else.
At the very end, there's not a post credit sequence, but there is a audio cue.
Really?
And it was a speak and spell voice that said FINDME, which is this find me, I think.
Yeah. What?
And the only animatronic that really talked was the yellow rabbit. I don't think that was the yellow rabbit, which was Matthew Lillard, right?
Yeah.
I think it was one of two people. It was either Mike's brother. By the way, the yellow rabbit did kill Mike's brother. We glossed over that too.
Yeah.
That's why he was there. It was either Mike's brother or it was Vanessa the cop in somehow robot form.
Dude.
So
I mean, like this thing ended with, you're for sure going to get part 2. There has to be. There's no way.
Yeah. So we'll see how this does. It just came out when we record this, and it's getting, I don't know, kind of mixed reviews, but I think maybe that's because it's not, I don't know how closely tied to the video game it is, or maybe it is too closely tied, but I thought it was fine. I think people are just a little too,
man.
I think people are just a little too snooty these days, which is why we formed the show to be positively skewed and not assume every movie is Lawrence of Arabia.
In which movie did we see that one? Something of the Ghostland with Nick Cage.
Prisoners of the Ghostland with Nick Cage.
See, we saw that movie for you guys.
We saw the shit out of that movie.
Man, that movie had a lot of things going on.
That was intense, but I still think the worst movie we've seen yet is actually Pinocchio, Disney's Pinocchio.
Oh man, I forgot about that movie.
That was such a bad movie.
That
Tom
was
Hanks.
the worst.
But anyway, I am, like I said at the beginning of this show, I'm going to give it a B. Five Nights at Freddy's is a solid PG-13 horror movie with some creepy atmospheric tones. What makes this movie work is how simple and believable the character stakes are and how you can sympathize with both the heroes and the villains.
Dude, I gotta agree. I'm gonna up it a little bit. I'm gonna give this one a B+. I said this movie was the one I've been waiting for. I'm rarely ever excited for a slasher, but this movie delivered. If it wasn't for moments where the plot felt a little forced and clunky, this would be an A. I said, while I was able to see the twist coming a mile away, it sure was great to see Matthew Lillard return as a murderous maniac with his signature fervor for mayhem with a blade. I just wanted more of it. I needed more Matthew Lillard. So I'm really excited for if there's ever going to be a part 2. I need it.
Well, from what I remember, there were a lot of there's a lot of prequels and a lot of there is a lot of lore to this. And then maybe the robot is the security guard. And that's why I said at the beginning, maybe that happened in the future, and and this movie, is it just me or did it feel kind of timeless? Did it take place in the late 90s? Did it take place in the 2000s?
So I was watching it and I'm just looking at the clothing. Well, his sister was wearing everything 80s or early 90s at anything. And nothing looked too old. Even the cruisers felt like they were kind of in the early 90s. The cars, this may have taken place either in the early 90s or in the mid 2000s, just judging by the
And were there
Honda
smartphones? I don't remember. You know what?
That's the thing. We saw a house phone. We didn't see any smartphones that I can recall.
You're right. There are a lot of house phones, a lot of simple stuff.
Which I like. So I don't know if it was being timeless in the movie or when it was being made, they were like, you know what? Let's remove things that are with the current time so that when people watch it, they're not really referencing a certain space.
There's two things that I think shouldn't be utilized in movies. Maybe just one, depending on how I edit this. The first is smartphones. I feel like smartphones take you out of the movie, and I miss the time where there were no smartphones. You can have simple texts in a movie. Yeah. You can have A to B phone calls, but I kind of miss the gravity of a flip phone. And then sometime in movies, you get that, and in this movie, you definitely got the gravity of not everyone is a touch. Google and something away.
Yeah, like I was saying, I don't know if you caught that, but we have a black phone in the security station, and then we have in his house we have the standard regular phone, and it's just like that. Both ring, and from what I can recall, those were the only phones used in the movie.
Yeah, super simple. I know he was actually I know he called Max a bunch of times trying to get her to babysit, but she was cut in half somewhere.
Yeah. She was resting easy, man.
Yeah, she was sleeping in pieces.
Yeah.
Rest in pieces.
She pieced out.
Yeah, but
okay.
Jimmy the drummer, where you been? But anyway, I think it's good. Check it out. And at the same time,
it's on Peacock, man. Pay for a month, stream it. If you haven't tried it before, get the free thing for a freaking week. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
it's there.
All of our movies are on Peacock, so you can check it out. And maybe I'm going to check out the video game, and we'll do some video game reviews as time goes on as well. That has been our hot take on Five Nights at Freddy's. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Check us out on Twitter, Facebook, wherever you get your information. We are everywhere. I'm your host, Marc Rubalcaba, joined once again by Mr. Abel Pineda. We'll catch you next time.
Oh no, Freddy.